Dr. Shirley was about to hold a concert tour in the South. But at that time, the further south they went, the harsher the discrimination against black people became. So before the trip, the agency handed a temporary driver, Tony, a green book, which listed hotels and guidelines for black travelers in the South. And so, the two of them set off on their journey. Dr. Shirley was refined and elegant, while Tony was carefree, munching on food and puffing on cigarettes along the way. Tony kept talking non-stop, which only made Dr. Shirley restless. Before one of the performances, Tony was still careless and indifferent. But once Dr. Shirley began to play the piano, Tony's expression gradually changed. The beautiful music moved him, and his face lit up with pride. On their way to Kentucky, Tony bought fried chicken and insisted on sharing it with Shirley. At first, Shirley refused, believing fried chicken symbolized the lower-class black stereotype. But eventually, he gave in and took a bite. He even copied Tony's elegant way of tossing out the bones. But when he saw Tony throw a plastic cup out the window, he immediately told him to pick it back up. As the journey continued and they drove further south, they passed by black laborers being exploited on farms. The workers looked at Shirley, sitting next to a white driver, with puzzled eyes. Shirley stared back at them, his feelings deeply conflicted. One rainy night on their way to Mississippi, their car was stopped by the police. The officers insulted Shirley. Tony lost his temper and fought back, and the two ended up in jail. It was only after Shirley called the governor that they were released. On the way back, the two had a heated argument. Tony told Shirley he wasn't black enough. Shirley finally exploded, pouring out all his bottled-up frustration in the pouring rain. Eventually, they reached their final stop, Birmingham, Alabama. The organizers even arranged for Shirley to stay in a storage room. Tony finally realized that Shirley had come south to challenge people's prejudice against black men. But before the concert, the restaurant refused to let Shirley dine there. The manager even tried to bribe Tony to make Shirley compromise. Tony, unwilling to see Shirley humiliated, took him away instead. Later, they went to a black bar. Shirley first played classical music, then switched to lively pop tunes, joining the local band in an impromptu jam session. The atmosphere lit up instantly, and the crowd danced with joy. After the tour ended, they had to hurry home before Christmas, but heavy snow fell, and once again, they were stopped by the police. This time, however, the officers were kind. They simply pointed out the flat tire and even helped them fix it. When they finally arrived home, Tony invited Shirley to spend Christmas with his family, but Shirley refused, returning instead to his empty castle, filled with loneliness. Tony's home, meanwhile, was full of laughter and warmth. When his friends brought up black people, Tony showed he was no longer the same. He refused to let anyone speak with prejudice. At that very moment, Shirley appeared at Tony's door. Tony rushed over to hug him and proudly introduced him to his family and friends.